Number 1. David Adam Pate, a 25-year-old serial criminal, was found guilty of the first-degree murder of 33-year-old Ricky James. The gangster took the internet by storm with his appearance. He is a white supremacist with a split tongue and Satan tattooed on his face. One of the most noticeable tattoos is the one on his neck. The 974 is a stamp of loyalty to one of the better-known gangs of North America, the Gangster Disciples. In October of 2013, David took Ricky into a wooded area, where he then used a knife to take his life. The report says that Ricky's body was found with almost 40 stabbing wounds, an absolutely gruesome show of lunacy. He even blamed the victim for the murder. During the sentencing hearing, the victim's two brothers described David as the devil, admitting that they wanted him to suffer in prison.
He said, supposedly, I killed him because he came in the woods with me. And why would somebody want to talk to me look like this? And I hope that you give him all he can get, like just let him suffer.
He admitted people like that ain't live on the earth. You were talking about. You're gonna suffer. You're gonna suffer. Because they say God is a vengeance.
Prosecutors added that they thought Pete deserved to die behind bars.
An evil person standing before you. If anybody ever deserved life in prison.
David was sentenced to life in prison. However, not a single emotion of remorse could be seen on his face, except an evil smirk. David has never spoken to the family of the victim or offered an apology. Number 2. Abel Gallagher. Abel Gallagher appeared in Jefferson County Court and was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, plus 163 years, for his role in kidnapping and killing a 28-year-old woman named Simone Duran. Gallagher, along with two other men, Alonzo Quintana and Rene Francisco Rosales, were found guilty of multiple counts for their role in the retaliation murder. Simone Duran had identified Quintana in a lineup in an attempted murder investigation in Adams County early 2018. From there, she became a target of the three men. On November 5, 2018, Duran was lured, kidnapped and shot to death as she begged for her life. A few hours later, her dead body was set on fire. This is Gallagher's sixth felony conviction, and he has been revoked on parole or probation at least 8 times. Judge Philip McNulty, the sentencing judge in the case, was appalled by the casualness of this crime and disregard for human life. Number 3. The killers of Christopher Dean.
Gang members brutally beat, tortured, and killed a man once they found out he spoke with police.
Prosecutors are about to take some of those suspects to court.
Christopher Dean, a father of 2 little boys, was in the process of turning his life around, but he never got the chance. Dean was invited to the home of brothers Xavier and Orlando Gibson to complete a drug transaction with Christopher Lockett. Little did he know, this invitation would lead to his death. For more than an hour, Dean was brutally beaten by some gang members with a 2x4 and crowbar. Not only was he brutally assaulted, but also sodomized with a handle-like object. They beat him to the point that his skull was actually depressed. He was then shot twice in the back of the head and executed. His body was put in the trunk of a car. Authorities said Jasper Green and Lamar Ammon were supposed to burn the body and all of the evidence, but they left the car at the MARTA station instead, with Dean's body in the trunk. A jury convicted 5 of the suspects, Xavier Gibson, Green, Christopher Lockett, Quaitez Clark, and Joshua Rooks, for murder, felony murder, participating in criminal street gang activity, and other related felonies. Lockett was sentenced to life without possibility of parole. Clark was given 2 consecutive life sentences plus 5 years, and Green was given life plus 3 years. Both Rooks and Xavier Gibson were given life sentences. According to the prosecutors, none of the defendants showed any remorse for their acts. Number 4. The killers of Lisandro Jr. Guzman.
Lisandro Jr. Guzman Feliz in 2018 sat in chains before Judge Ralph Fabrizio, with Jr.'s mother looking on.
This specific case involves 14 members of the Trinitarios gang who were charged with first-degree murder, second-degree murder, manslaughter, conspiracy, and gang assault. This was because of the brutal murder of a 15-year-old named Lisandro Jr. Guzman. On the night of June 21, 2018, Jr. Guzman was chased by the gang in connection to the shooting of one of the gang members just a day prior. Security footage shows the gruesome story in detail. Guzman ran into a bodega in an attempt to hide, but was quickly caught and dragged out by multiple members. The gang members, who ranged from 19 to 29 years old, attacked the 15-year-old with knives and machetes. Left for dead, Junior crawled to a nearby hospital, but sadly bled out and died in front of the building. The horrible footage of the act went viral on the internet and sparked outrage in the community. The trial lasted over 4 years and recently came to a close. The verdict was guilty for everyone across the board. The culprits were sentenced ranging from 12 years in prison to life without parole. The saddest part of the case was that the 15-year-old was murdered due to a mistaken identity. Number 5. The Carpio Brothers. The two teen brothers were sentenced for their role in the 2013 killing of a student, Kevin Orellana, on the campus of Cleveland High School. The 18-year-old was stabbed to death while playing handball at the school campus. Anthony Carpio was sentenced to 16 years to life, and his brother Michael Stephen Carpio was sentenced to 15 years to life. According to the trial testimony, the Carpio brothers approached Orellana while he was playing handball and issued a gang challenge. A lawyer for the victim's family said the older brother was fighting Orellana when Anthony approached from behind and stabbed the victim 10 times in the head, neck and upper body. The two brothers will not be eligible for parole until 2028. Number 6. George Thomas. Convicted gang boss George Thomas has been sentenced to life imprisonment for slaying and other crimes he orchestrated from his jail cell. The marathon trial against Thomas and 16 others concluded in the Western Cape High. 6 other gangsters have also been sentenced to a life behind bars. All the convicts were tried under the Prevention of Organized Crime Act for crimes committed between 2006 and 2010, ranging from slaying to conspiracy to commit slaying and racketeering. Thomas is said to have served 7 life sentences concurrently for the crimes he masterminded between 2006 and 2010. Judge Chantal Fortman said that Thomas and his 16 henchmen showed no remorse deliberately and willingly carrying out hits to instill fear in the community. He made over 30,000 phone calls between 2008 and 2010 while awaiting trial. Thomas systematically planned the slayings of several people, including potential state witnesses, while he was awaiting trial at 5 different facilities. The court heard how Thomas had turned the prisons into his own personal headquarters and terrorized correctional service officials. During his trial, the gang boss claimed that he only attacked prison officers in retaliation after they hurt him. In an interview, Thomas said the following: "Correctional Services has launched an investigation into Thomas on how he arranged several crimes from behind bars. What do you think of these life sentences? Did these gang members deserve them? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Press the bell icon and don't forget to subscribe to our channel."